It appears that the Mets are out on Tomoyuki Sugano. In this video, I'm going to talk about my reaction to that report and just the vibe of the New York Mets right now and how this offseason is currently going, because I do have some things to say. I have to say, so far, I am not thrilled with the reports that I've been reading. Yes, they are just reports, but so far, not so good. If you guys like this video where it is kind of a rant, I mean, what I really would like to rant about is the New York Giants and what happened last night with the Eagles and what they failed to do, but we're going to talk about the Mets today. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment. What do you think about the probability that Sugano is not going to the Mets? And what should the Mets do now? Because the rotation still is a need. And also make sure to subscribe. We're working our way towards 700 subscribers. So I always appreciate the support and talking to you guys in the comments section. So for Sugano, I thought he would have been a pretty good fit for this New York Mets team. Obviously, there is always risk when you do go international because you don't know exactly what you are getting. I just believe that with the current free agent starting pitchers out there right now, I don't think the Mets are going to end up with Bauer. I think that he is going to sign for a ton of money. And that's okay, because even though he did have a really good 60-game season, and I do want the Mets to get him, I don't want the Mets to give him max money. So if he's going to go to another team for a crazy amount of money, then so be it. A lot of these veteran pitchers over 30 years old, I just don't think those guys are worth it because their best years are behind them. They're not going to be able to match what is already in the league, what the Dodgers have, what the Braves have, what the Padres just got last week. The Mets, with these guys, all these starting pitchers out there, they can't match that. Like I said, Taijuan Walker has upside, but no guarantee that he's going to be able to go well in a head-to-head matchup against a Charlie Morton, against a Max Fried or Blake Snell. I don't really think those matchups go in the Mets' favor. So they need something better starting pitching-wise. And if it's not going to be Bauer, I think Sugano was one of the next best options. I believe that Sugano is better than Odorizzi. He's probably better than Corey Kluber because of his injuries and things like that. And maybe even better than Tanaka, because we saw Tanaka have a bit of a down year last year, even in the postseason. So I think that Sugano was worth a shot, and you weren't going to have to spend a crazy amount of money to get him, I don't think. We'll see what the final signing is, whether that's with the Blue Jays or the Giants. But still, I think that he would have been worth a shot, because the Mets just need somebody in the middle of the rotation. They are banking on Noah Syndergaard to come back and be the number 2 pitcher. We talked about it last video, but if you have DeGrom and you have Noah and Stroman, and then you, I thought, would put in Sugano, and then you had David Pearson, you could put Lugo in the bullpen, I thought you had a pretty nice rotation. But now if you're telling me, okay, well, instead, you're going to have to rely on Odorizzi, who is someone that Joel Sherman talked about a lot this morning, I don't love that. Jake Odorizzi, at his best, was pretty good. Not ace caliber, not Cy Young caliber, maybe makes an all-star team. Great, but that was 2 years ago, and he's had an injury since then. There is no guarantee you're getting that same pitcher. It is very unlikely that that happens. I'll give you a perfect example. Remember when Rick Porcello won the Cy Young and was never the same pitcher, and he had a 6 ERA the year before, and the Mets signed him hoping for a bounce-back year? What happened? Disaster, got rid of him. Now you're in the same position where you're looking for another veteran starting pitcher. And Odorizzi, despite the injuries, had over a 6 ERA last year. So you're basically taking the same exact chance, trying to get this lightning in a bottle and a bounce back. It doesn't work that way. You have to get guys that you know are proven commodities. And I'm not saying that Sugano is proven, but I just feel more comfortable with him than I do with Odorizzi. And I just thought that he would have been a good signing for this team. The thing that has really frustrated me was the report that came out about George Springer and the New York Mets being far apart, that Springer wants $150 million. If that is true, that is not okay. The Mets are supposed to come in here with this mindset, with this mentality that we are a big market team now. Not saying that we're going to spend big, but we're going to act like a big market team. If there is a player that fits the New York Mets that they want and they're bidding with another team, the Mets have the money to where they could outbid that other team and get the player. And Springer is the guy this offseason. The Mets have needed center field ever since Carlos Beltran left, and Springer could be a two-way center fielder, not for 5 years, but at least for 3 years. Then you could slide Pete Crow Armstrong over to center field once he is ready in an ideal world. But what Springer does give you is that lineup balance that you need. A big-time right-handed bat, a big-time star player in your lineup to really take your lineup to the next level. A guy that could perform for you in the postseason. If you're in the National League Championship Series, George Springer could be the MVP of that series with how well he could perform in the postseason. He just did it again this year for the Houston Nationals. So, buzzers or not, Springer is still a very good performer in the postseason. If the Mets are not willing to give Springer the $150 million that he desires, Toronto very easily could, and then George Springer walks away. And if that does happen, What do you do next? Because we know the Mets obviously are not getting Real Muto. It looks like they're not getting Bauer because of how much he wants. I don't think they're getting DJ LeMahieu because I really feel like LeMahieu wants to go back to the Yankees. I feel like he could have signed elsewhere by now if he really had intentions of leaving the Yankees. So I imagine he's going back there, because if he doesn't, that's a disaster for the Yankees. Other than that, what else are you really doing? The Mets have said they don't really want to trade their farm system. That's the only other way you're going to get a star player, whether that is an Arenado or Lindor. I don't see the Mets doing that because they don't want to trade their farm system. That's why they didn't get Blake Snell. That's why they didn't get Yu Darvish. I mean, are they going to make the trade for Sonny Gray and Eugenio Suarez? I don't think it's likely, but I mean, that would be okay, because I like Sonny Gray more than those other starting pitchers, because it wasn't a New York thing, it was a Yankee thing. The Yankees had Sonny Gray throwing the wrong pitches. It's not that he can't pitch in New York, it's that they had him throwing the wrong pitches. If you look at the pitch usage from Sonny Gray, pitches like his slider, like his cutter, and seeing how the pitches he used in Cincinnati and in Oakland compared to with the Yankees, it's a major difference, and you see a drastically different pitcher. So I like Sonny Gray better than some of those other starting pitching options, and Eugenio Suarez can still give you that big-time right-handed bat. Not exactly George Springer caliber, doesn't play center field, but J.D. Davis is not, this lock at third base, and I think that's a position that could be upgraded, and Suarez would definitely count as an upgrade. So maybe the Mets will go in that department. I don't see it happening, but it could happen. Other than that, it still is very early. Nobody has signed. No, we don't know exactly where Sugano is going to go. Looks like it's probably going to be a Blue Jays. Maybe it'll be a San Francisco Giants. People have said maybe it goes back to Japan for more opt-out, or more teams are willing to spend money. We'll see. But overall, this has just been an extremely slow offseason. And if the baseball season is delayed, which it really shouldn't be with the way football and basketball have gone on, no problem, no hurdles. They've been able to get through their games. Baseball, there should be no excuse. They got through their season as well. So baseball has got to start on time. There is no reason to delay this season at all. If the season is delayed, that means that owners really are going to spend money. It's going to make the offseason move even slower, which is pretty much impossible to think. But I guess that it is just going to be one of those off seasons where a lot of players are not going to be signed until February. And it looks like maybe if you just keep waiting it out, you can get some pretty solid players on a low deal, just to get some depth guys, just to get guys that could be good backups, whether it's in the infield or the outfield or more pitching. Those are still things that you could address, because those guys are just going to be looking for jobs, since a lot of these teams don't want to spend money, especially if the season's delayed. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and until the next one, be safe, be smart, be healthy, and let's go Mets.